doing the follow-up is actually going to equal results. You learn that as you get really good at this and you have that predictive power, because you can just sense what's going to happen with these different clients and deals and how they actually are behaving and what needs to happen when they behave certain ways and when they respond certain ways.
Welcome to the Revenue Roadmap Podcast, the podcast that shows you how to build your firm, how to bring real strategies, proven tools, and thought leadership from inside and outside of the legal industry to help you scale smarter. My name is Tyler Dolph. I'm your host and also the CEO of our digital marketing agency, Rocket Clicks, where we focus exclusively on helping family law firms grow their firm. Today, I have my co-host, Anthony Carls, with me. Anthony is the president of our agency. He's also the co-founder of our family law firm, Sterling Lawyers, which has grown to over 32 attorneys and 25 locations across 2 different states. Tony built the sales team over at Sterling and brings valuable insights to today's episode on how you can do the same thing. In this episode, we dive into how great salespeople can leverage prediction to help anticipate clients' needs and move them through your pipeline so that you can schedule more consults and achieve better sales. All right, Tony, welcome back. We are continuing our sales series here on the Roadmap. And today we're going to talk about the 5 ways to build predictable power in sales. We're going to start with our first one, which is understanding your clients at a deeper level. I think we've seen the power of this at the agency by focusing on a single client type and having the firm that gives us kind of an advantage, right? Because we've been there, done that. But how do you see this working out?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that all really, really good salespeople have is this. It's called the power of prediction. And it's they understand what's going to happen and when, because they've been there before. So, at like one of those things is understanding your clients at a deeper level, which really means like you understand where they are in the moment of if we're just talking about an intake call, where they are in the moment of that intake call. You understand that this is probably the first time that they've externalized that they're getting a divorce to a stranger, someone that they don't have a relationship with. Like they may have told their brother and sister, they may have told a friend, they may have told a pastor or priest or something, but they generally have a relationship with all those people. It's now going to become real because now it's not an idea. It's like, okay, I'm telling a stranger that can do something about it. And like understanding where your client is allows you to have a better conversation because you know where they are emotionally, what's going to trigger them, what's going to get them to respond in the way you need them to respond. You're going to have a good understanding of the right cadence for the conversation so that you can actually connect. You're going to know the different types of people that are going to come in because there's going to be some that are just going to vomit all over you and tell you everything in the world. And there's some that are going to be really closed up and you have to approach those people differently. But when you get really good at this, you can like see those things happen in real time and you're like, oh, activate the closed off 35 to 40-year-old male script because he's not going to say anything. And like, okay, how do I get this person to open up?
We talk all the time about meeting our clients where they are. And I know you talk about that with the intake team at our firm. And the way that you do that, the way that you meet them where they are is by having an understanding of like what they're coming in with, what their baggage looks like, and what kind of day they've had, and so that you can empathize and be a shoulder to lean on, as opposed to like a robot where you're just like, well, I have to say this thing in the script, and then it's going to go whatever way it goes. Like, no, I understand where they're at. Totally agree. And to kind of compound on that, our second item is recognizing patterns in deals and behavior. And to your point, the more reps you have and the more opportunities you hear the same story and you hear the struggle, the better you're going to be able to empathize, right?
Yeah. I think this is so true, especially in any sales role. It applies in a family law firm or it applies at an agency. One of the things you're really good sales team members are going to figure out is, and not get discouraged by, which is probably the bigger point, is the number of follow-ups required to get most of these deals across the finish line, because it isn't one and it's not two. At Sterling, 25% of our deals are signed in the first 14 days. That means, I believe only 4 or 5% are funded on the day of the consultation. It might be less than that. So what that means is I'm not discouraged that they didn't sign and fund at the consultation, because I know this is going to come through. So like, it's not going to change my day. I'm not going to get nervous about the fact that they didn't sign and ruin my next consultation, because that's what a salesperson can do, is like get in their head, and now they're going to really become a real pushy, aggressive salesperson and turn everybody off, versus I understand the process. Most are going to, a good chunk are going to fund in the first 14 days. 50% are going to fund in the first 30 days. I got a follow-up team behind me that's doing a bunch of activity. And like your follow-up team, they know that doing the follow-up is actually going to equal results. And, you learn that as you get really good at this, and you have that predictive power, because you can just sense what's going to happen with these different clients and deals, and how they actually are behaving, and what needs to happen when they behave certain ways and when they respond certain ways. So
100%. And you got to leverage the data. And as a former, immature salesperson myself, I thought I could always just wing it. I could just figure it out. And then when you get access to the data and you start going through the reps, you realize that there's so much more confidence that comes from that knowledge. And it's not like a crutch. It's a benefit.
Yeah. If you know that, after 9 follow-ups, there's a 50% chance that they're going to fund. You're not discouraged doing the first 8, right? Because what the data tells you. And then those that don't close in those first 9, here's the next set of follow-ups, and now 75, another 75 or 25% of that group is going to close. So stuff is going to happen as long as you just keep executing. And that can be really powerful from an attitude and mindset perspective.
100%. Yeah, let the numbers work for you there.
Yeah.
Item number 3 is one of my favorite ones, which is use strategic questions to uncover hidden information. I think, last time we were on our sales series, we talked about the fact that people oftentimes will just give you a why, or answer your question in a way that allows you to leave them alone. They're not going to tell you the real issue. They're going to make up a superficial issue. This to me is all about that.
Yeah, I think there's, one of the things we talk about in our sales process is figuring out their dominant buying motive, and what's underlying that. So some of it, sometimes that's their dominant buying motive is that they don't trust lawyers, and what they're actually looking for is someone to meet them at that level, because that there's some reputation there in the marketplace that not all lawyers are on the up and up. So, and they get bad reputations. So how do you deal with that reality when you're on with a client on that initial phone call or into that consultation room? Ask them what it looks like to have a successful attorney client relationship. Have them articulate what they want that to feel like. You're going to get the real understanding from them, not just the what we call RDR, reactionary defense response, which everybody does. So if you've ever walked into Best Buy and you've been greeted by the tech person, or I think it's a tech person / security guard, whatever they do there. It's always funny because they're usually super skinny and they're real small. And I'm you're not going to do anything if I try to steal something. But anyway, anytime you walk in, they always ask, "Can I help you find something?" And everybody says,
"Nope, I'm good.
No, nope, I'm good. Just looking." That's your RDR. And this happens in every sales interaction. And if that's what's happening, now you're oh, okay, I got to open them up, because they're just giving me their RDR, reactionary defense response. So how do I use strategic questions to start unpeeling the onion?
Identify the real why.
Yeah.
That's so strong, and something that takes a lot of reps, and it's a little scary at first because you hear no, I'm fine. You're like, oh, well, they're fine.
Yeah.
They're actually not.
So like, great question. What does it look like to have a successful attorney-client relationship? What does your life look like when this is done over and done with well? So like things like that are going to be in that in the consultation room or on the intake call. They're really disarming questions that get them to actually share with you the real information.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, moving on to item 4, leveraging CRM data and past client behavior. We've been talking a lot about the importance of data, and we know that a lot of salespeople don't love the old CRM, but it is massively powerful both in a today, like how am I keeping track of leads I have, but also from a marketing perspective, how am I staying in touch with the leads that didn't close, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like once you have data and you can action on it, you can be so much more strategic. So we know based on doing interviews with clients and asking them how long they were in market before they talked with us, the response is 18 to 36 months. Like it's a long time before they actually call. Some people will call in between their research and then they will then fund in the next year. So if you understand what the sales cycle actually looks like, you can be so much more strategic on how you're using like sales enablement automation to stay in touch with them over a long period of time strategically. So, one of the things that we do at Sterling is we have 18 months of content that we follow up with clients with, because we know that if they don't fund in the first 30 days of our follow-up, they move into a non-responsive status, and then they get put into a journey that's 18 months long, because people will generally fund within that 18-month period. After that, our data shows that there isn't a lot of conversions that happen after that 18 months. So we don't need more content for that. So, but up until that, it's worthwhile doing. Get good open rates, get decent engagement with those emails. So it's important because you can leverage the CRM data to make your firm operations so much more effective, because now your intake team doesn't have to do it. No intake team member is going to do 18 months of follow-up. They're going to get it confused and they're going to screw it up. Like, it's just the reality. And if you don't do it, they're going to forget your brand and they're going to go back to search, and they may or may not call you back because they forgot what your brand name was because they talked to you one time.
Yeah, I mean, as your law firm grows, we're talking about thousands of contacts here. So there's no way even the best salesperson in the world is not going to be able to keep track of all of those things in the right order and remember to do the right things. And so leveraging data and automation to do that for you is going to be hugely beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, at Sterling, we currently have about 23 or 24 scheduled consults every single day. So it's over 100 a week. All of them need follow-up after that initial consultation. So like,
and that over 18 months, that's going to compound into.
Yeah, that's a big number. So that's why we use sales enablement automation to do that. So like, there's a lot of benefit there.
Okay, wrapping up to number 5, which is stay curious and avoid assumptions. I think intake team members, sales team members go through emotional roller coasters just like everyone else. I would say we probably tend towards to be a little more emotional and like, oh, I didn't get a sale today. This is the worst day ever, and I'm the worst salesperson ever. And you can't think that way, right? You got to stay positive and stay consistent and understand all the other points that we talked about today, because if you play the numbers and you run the process, good things will happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that's really important here, so if at Sterling, we have what we call scaled offers. So our intake team has 6 different things that they can pitch. Our lawyer team has 5 or 6 things that they can all pitch. And it's just different levels of service. And one of the assumptions that often gets made in sales and what drives down sales performance is the salesperson assuming they know what the client actually wants to buy when they didn't validate it. And the best way to do that is to assume they didn't tell you what they want to buy and present them options. And even when they say, yeah, I think that's what I want, present them an option down and an option up so that they can see what else is potentially available to get them to actually pick the right thing. And it's really important to do that, because if you just go in to a situation and you're only selling a full representation and you're not open to selling, a limited scope or an hour worth of, do it with me coaching, that's revenue walking out the door because it wasn't perfectly ideal for you. And the reality is that makes up a fairly large portion of, not the majority, but it's in the 15 to 20% range for Sterling, and it's a big bucket. So kind of avoiding assumptions and being open to having scaled offers is a huge benefit. And from a sales perspective, avoiding the assumption that you know what they're going to buy. So, if you only have one offer, you're not really making an assumption. It's a statement of fact. The only thing you can purchase is the one way we do this here. If you worked with us, we would encourage you to build scaled offers because there's a lot of benefits of that in the long-term conversion funnel.
Absolutely. I love it. Tony, I always appreciate your insight and knowledge here as it relates to helping these law firm owners grow their firms. We're going to continue down our sales series, and so we will see you next time over there. If you enjoyed this episode, you will love our next episode on the commitment required for salespeople to be successful. Make sure to check it out here, and we will see you over there.